Hatchback Explorer here for another tabletop review. Today we're not going to be quite going to the table today. I'm just going to be talking with you like this, kind of get more FaceTime, if you will. But just a little while ago, I think I posted a video about my Silky Pocket Boy review, and I kind of wanted to expand on that because I touched on how I didn't like the Silky Pocket Boy because, according to what I've seen on YouTube and different forums and whatnot, everyone raves about the Silky Pocket Boy, but my experience wasn't that great because the blades keep breaking. It's a great saw. It's made very well. The quality is very, very nice, except for the blades. That's one downfall. But like I said, I'm still going to test it and try and see if I can figure out how to not break the blades as easy. But I kind of wanted to touch on today the different methods that I've used in the backcountry for processing wood. Because I just don't like breaking branches. It's just I don't like doing that. And sometimes, like, you can find, where I go, the Uinta Mountains, you can find like dead standing trees that are, only 4 or 5 inches around, and you can cut that down and cut it up and use it for wood, because a lot of the times people just pick up all the loose stuff and burn it. And so I like to have a saw to be able to get different wood and get more wood. And so that kind of leads me into this video today. What is the best method in the backcountry for processing wood? Or what is the best saw for you guys? This is just food for thought. And so I have right here on the table 4 different types of methods to process wood. One is a hatchet. And this is one that I've kind of restored. I haven't used it a lot, but I have used hatchets before to process wood, and I'll go more into this one in just a sec. The Silky Pocket Boy, the Baco Laplander, and just a cheap Fiskars Folding Saw. So I'm gonna go through each one. So let's go back to the Fiskars, however you say that. I picked this up at Home Depot. I think I got it for about 12 to 15 bucks. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere around the $15 range. I love this saw. It's great. The reasons that it's great is because it's cheap. The build quality is actually pretty nice for what you can get. I've cut through some massive, you can kind of get an idea of how big this thing is. This is like a 12-inch blade. So you can cut through some pretty sizable pieces of wood with this. And it's readily available. You can pick this up in most gardening stores and like Home Depot, Lowe's, anything like that. The downfalls of it is big. This is a big saw. And what I like to do is I like to kind of throw it in my back pocket and go hike around, find some wood and bring it back. And this is just kind of big and bulky, and it's hard to keep it in your pocket because it always just kind of wants to fall out and whatnot. But this is a great option for those that are beginning to get into backpacking because it is so cheap. It's readily available. You don't have to kind of search for it, kind of like these others right here. Except for the hatchet, you can buy those in most Home Depots anyways, or hardware stores. But this is a great option if you're looking to see if you want to carry a saw in the backcountry. So if you want to try it out, I suggest getting this. It is cheap, it's readily easy to find, and it's just a great option for beginners. And I'm glad that I picked this up because it kind of did, like I said, it introduced me into, did I really want it, or was it something I could is it something that I could do without? That's what I meant to say. And so yeah, that is the Fiskars. I think this is like the 12-inch gardening folding saw or something like that. You can find them. They're easy to find. Next is the Baco Laplander. And now the Baco Laplander is definitely one of the nicer saws out on the market. It's made from really high quality steel. As you can tell, gotten a lot of use out of this thing. The blade stays really sharp, which is something I'm looking for in a saw, is the ability for the blade to stay sharp over time. With the Fiskars saw, you kind of notice the blades aren't that high quality and they kind of lose some of their ability to cut, meaning they get dull. So that's something to think about. But because it is so cheap, it's not something I'm worried about too much. But the Baco Laplander stays really sharp. It is a good quality saw. This is actually my dad's, and we've used this on four-wheeling trips quite a bit, and it is still sharp. And he bought this like 10, 12 years ago, like a long time ago. And this thing is held together. You can really cut through some thick stuff with both hands, like really putting some pressure on it. And I haven't had any distortion with the blade. It hasn't bent. It always cuts great. So this is a good saw. This saw, I am not sure how much you can pick this up for. Probably around $30, give or take, depending on where you look. And with some of these prices, I haven't looked up recently. I probably should have, but this is about an estimate. I've looked up about 4 months ago, and this is about $30, give or take. So this is kind of your medium range saw, and it's a good quality saw. So if you're looking for something to upgrade to from, let's say, like a Fiskars saw, this is definitely a great option. It's light, it's small, it's only about 10 inches in length overall, and just a good quality saw. Next in line, that is just kind of an equal comparison to the Baco Laplander, is the Silky Pocket Boy. Now these, let me see if I can line them up for you here. There is a bit of difference. So this is the 170 millimeter Silky Pocket Boy, and I love this saw. Like I said, if you want my full thoughts on this, check out my review on the Silky Pocket Boy. This is probably one of the most comfortable saws I've ever actually used. So let me open this up. So when you grip it, it's got like a rubber texture, and you can really hold on to this and really cut through some stuff. It's a great saw. This also runs you about $30. So it's kind of in the same range as the Baco Laplander. And these saws are really quite comparable as far as quality. You can replace the blades on both of these. So you can take the blade out, buy a new blade for this one. And you can buy a new blade for this one. I haven't looked up how much a blade is for this, so to be honest with you, I don't know. To replace a blade on this one is $30. So you buy the saw for $30, and then you buy a blade for $30. Doesn't make sense to me. I would think that you could buy one of these for like $10 or something. I don't know. That is the downfall of the Silky Pocket Boy, is the blade breaks. Check out my full review if you want my thoughts on that. It could be use as far as why this is breaking. I don't know. I'm still testing this a little bit to try and figure out if I can get it to work, but good saw. It's got some quirks. And then last, which is something I don't like using a lot because of the skill that you need to use it, and that is a hatchet. Now Hatchet is great if you're doing a lot of like the bushcraft stuff. It's good to throw in like an emergency kit. But other than that, I don't think this is a good option for processing wood in the backcountry. Because if you take like one of these compared to like the Silky Pocket Boy or any of these others, it is a really heavy piece of equipment. And when you're using it, if you're not using it right, there's a higher chance of you like cutting your hand, swinging into your foot, cutting your leg. So I don't personally like using hatchets because there is that kind of next level of danger that you don't quite get with a folding saw. Because with the folding saw you can have more control, and if you, let's say, kind of slip, yeah, you can get cut pretty good if you're not careful with these. But if you were to like slip and kind of accidentally like hit your hand, it wouldn't be as bad as if you were to slip and, you know, hit your knee or hit your shin. Because I mean that going into a human would hurt. So that is something that I don't want to risk in the backcountry, because it's just, you want to mitigate your risk when you're backpacking, and this kind of heightens that risk. But I mean, if you use one a lot, if you're comfortable with it, and if you're careful, they're great tools. They do take longer. Like I said, if you want to cut down like a smaller tree, it just takes a lot longer because you have to sit there and try and break it up. But this is also an option for you. And this is one that I've restored, kind of a cheap one. I've put some paracord on it for a handle. And it's a great option, but it's just something that I'm not willing to carry because of weight and the danger. But like I said, if this is something you want, there's an option. You can go pick one of these up from like Home Depot for $10-15. And if you sharpen up the blade a little bit, you got a nice sharp axe that can get you some good quality cutting and a lot of wood. So that's something to think about. So you want to think about your price. You want to think about ease of use and danger. And there's a lot of other saws that you can use. You can use like the collapsible kind of bow saws. There's those out there. I haven't tried any of those just because of their overall size. You have to get them like 18 inches long, like collapsed, because the wings fold out. Then you got the brace and then the blade. So you got about 18 inches, and it's just something I don't want to carry, so I haven't really looked into it. That's why I kind of went with the Silky Pocket Boy, is because I can just throw this in the brain of my pack and forget about it. And they're light, small, and they're really easy to use. They're dummy proof. Like, you don't have to be a brainiac to figure out how to use this. So I hope that helped you guys kind of figure out what you wanted as far as a saw. If you're going off my recommendation, definitely a saw. And it's just, to me, it's the best. Some people don't need it. They can just kind of break wood up against a tree and be fine with that. I like to carry it. It's kind of like a comfort item. And with my mentality, it's always prepare for the worst. And so in a sort of survival situation where if I were to get lost, having a saw on hand really would help me survive a little longer if I were to get lost. And so that's why I carry one handy, and it's a good kind of backup tool in case things get, kind of hairy for some unfortunate reason. So like I said, hope this helped. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to respond to you and give you some of my thoughts. If you want me to try and review another item as far as like a folding saw or whatnot, I'm actually kind of wanting to look into buying one and giving it a try. So just let me know if you have any suggestions on what I should buy for that. And I hope this helped. And please like, comment, subscribe. It would really, really help the channel. We're trying to grow it bigger, trying to get a bigger community for those that like to go exploring. And we'll catch you next time.